crystal caves. You're asked not to touch the stalactites because that would restrict and retard the continued growth. So let's see what happens. Oops, touched it. Oh, wow. Just look at these fantastic formations. These stalactites are amazing. The video does not do justice to these magnificent crystal curtains. You have to be a hearing person to really appreciate the beauty of nature. Here's an underwater stalagmite, and this indicates that some time ago this area was not underwater. It's amazing that just the constant dripping of water through porous rock could pick up minerals and deposit them in these magnificent formations that we see today, and that they still continue to grow even as we watch. Now here's our tour guide telling us about how these caves were discovered back in the day.
14 years old. And one day they were playing cricket, and one of the boys hit the ball into the trees. When the boys went to go look for the ball, they found a hole. So the boys did what just about any teenage boys would do. They went home. They got some rope and a kerosene lantern. The boys came back to the hole. They tied that rope around a tree, and they came down into the deep, dark unknown. When they got down here, what they thought was just a few puddles was really a 55-foot saltwater lake, and they swam for 2 hours. Of course, they were not looking for the ball. They were looking for another way out. But unless the boys can hold their breath for a mile underwater, the only way out for them was the way they came in. So when the boys finally found the rope they came down on, they made their way back up. They went home, and they told their parents what they found. And their parents told the Wilkinsons. The Wilkinsons owned the property that this cave was under, so automatically the cave went to them. The Wilkinsons came down here for the first time, and they saw the beauty of the cave. So they decided to open it up on attraction a year later. And from 1908 to 1928, they had unguided boat ride tours and boats like those over there, and people were allowed to bring saws and axes. Cut the tips on the stalactites and keep them for souvenirs. It wasn't until 1929 when they realized that they probably should stop that. So that's when they built the first pontoon bridge, and they hired the first tour guides as well. Any questions?
These are living roots you see here. In time, these roots will penetrate the ground to support the branch, and in time, become as thick as those you see at the base. All of those are roots that started out just like these. This tree is between 200, 210 years old. Ah, my friends, we are now approximately 67 feet down into the earth. Just over 22 meters. That is, from the entrance into the cave, new to some, possibly old to others, to sea level. The waters you see here in the fantasy cave. It is ocean. It is the Atlantic Ocean. This water is entering the cave through underwater passageways, which now stretch over 3/4 of a mile to our east to the wide open Atlantic Ocean. The water leaves the body of the Atlantic known as the Castle Harbor, flows from the Castle Harbor to Crystal Cave, then here into Fantasy Cave, and from here it goes another 1.25 miles through this underwater passageway where I'm now shining my light to our west, back to the open ocean. At its deepest point in the cave, that is the water, here where my light is shining. Over 65 feet deep right now. Wow. Over 22 meters deep, but it's very deceptive. Over there, over there.
Oh, over there.
Over 65 feet deep. Over 22 meters deep. It's very deceptive. It's very fooling to the naked eyes. The reason? See these features in the water where my light is shining? Not these that are here.
The reflections.
Those over there.
Yeah.
In reality, they don't exist. Why? Say it again. Say it again, man.
Reflection of water.
Excuse me, man. Can I be very honest and candid with you today? You are an extremely brilliant person. We are privileged today to be standing in the presence of such sheer brilliance because, my friend, you are absolutely correct. Let's see in real time how the calcium and rich water dripping from the stalactites are forming their corresponding stalagmites in real time. Get your cameras ready so you can capture this in real time. The dripping water from the stalactites
I was swinging on that one.
forming the corresponding stalagmites, forming at a rate of 1 cubic inch every 100 years, about the size of an ice cube every 100 years. But in thousands and thousands and thousands of years, the stalactites would meet and merge with their corresponding stalagmites, and when that occurs, they would form a magnificent column like this one, which started out as a single drip of water on the ceiling of the cave over 125,000 years ago. That's not a step back in time, my friends. That's more like a giant leap back in time called the House of Darien. They built for her a special stage right here for that video shoot. During one of her intermissions, Beyonce approached me, walking in her high heels. She said, "Ron, would you take me for a ride in this boat?" How could I say no to Beyonce, especially when Jay-Z wasn't in town?
He was, it was. Yeah, he was.
Yes. We call them jumpers. They wait until the tour guide's back is turned. Then they jump in. They get back.
When they get out.
They get out. You would have to wait until my back is turned. Oh, now, many people, when they enter a cave, they automatically expect for it to be cold in the cave. But here we are, in the fantasy cave, and it is not cold. So that has to be a wrong assumption. But this is the rule of thumb. The temperature in caves are the median temperature or the average annual temperature of the region they're found in. So since here in Bermuda, in our summers we have temperatures in the low 90s Fahrenheit, our winters mid-50s Fahrenheit, midway between those extremes, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, around 22 degrees Celsius. It remains constant all year. It doesn't change even when the seasons do. And that rule applies not just to caves in Bermuda, but to caves around the world. Ready for this shocking revelation? We call them ribbons, curtains, and drapes. And if that doesn't stimulate your fantasy, this may stimulate your appetite. Bacon strips. Ooh. I can tell by that reaction there are not too many vegans or vegetarians on tour today. Watch the reaction. Bacon strips. Now, I would like this group to face me, this group here. Continue to face me, go right up to the rail. You'll be walking this way, you'll walk down that way, get to the end. Suspended from the ceiling of the cave, these massive phosphor formations, we call them the crystal chandeliers. To date, not seen in any other cave in Bermuda, and to date, not in any other cave in the world. So you had better take advantage of this opportunity to capture one of these crystal chandeliers with your cameras, because you won't be able to take a photo of formations identical to these in any other cave in the world. Oh. Come on, sir. In the world. In the world.
Ah.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
Now, friends, I offer you a photographic suggestion. Right? Once you come to this part, the next move is yours. And if you can make another move, check.
Give me a chance. Did you get that? Sorry.
Okay, this is the unfinished church. You will find it online. They started it, they never finished it. So what do they do here? They keep special events, weddings, stuff like that. As you see, it's private property. This is Swivel End.
What are you doing? You got a six-pack? You got a six-pack in the morning. You drink two. Take the other four to work. Drink them four. Come down here. Do 3 more. And if you finish the damn too bad, you fuck around. Go down and say, "Nah, I'm going down in the shop, make a round. Anybody want anything?"